think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wants to fight me? Who?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. How y'all doing this evening? How are y'all doing this evening, man? I want to talk a little boxing. And I want to get into some things. It has been a while since I had one of these. Well, if you got something on your chest, you can get it off. If something bothering you, you know what I'm saying? AC, salute Bodywork, salute AC, salute, bro. But if something bothering you, then you can let me know what's bothering you. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, a lot of things be bothering me, and I don't really say much. I just keep going right on along. And but here lately, man, it's just getting out of control, man. People, and I try to couple different people, man, getting on my nerves, man. These OnlyFans getting on my nerves. These content creators are getting on my nerves. And I said a long time ago, because the only reason why I really fell out, the only reason why I really started becoming a creator is because of the places I used to go. I started seeing the agenda of what they were doing. And I'm like, hold on, man, that's not right and exact, man. Like, no, you putting a lot of sauce on it, man. You being a little extra. I don't agree with that. And then when I started feeling like I was a troublemaker, I said, you know what, I could do this. I could do that, man. I done did some motivational speaking before. Led some people in the Army. Been in management in the work field. I was like, man, I could give voice to some things, man, and what my agenda was like I said, silence is consent, because it started when I saw that nobody really had the cojones to really talk about that Canelo stuff. When Canelo really started making it evident that he was not going to be taking on King Kong, that he had already made it, and that he was just going to spend the rest of his days pretty much picking and choosing. And I noticed that the mainstream, and I'm not just talking about mainstream media, they're going to be who they're going to be. The writers are going to write. You know, we went over that when I was doing, reading the articles and showing you the tone of this person and showing you the tone of that person, and using a couple different articles to say the same thing, but to see who was going to put a little bit extra on this and who was going to be more right and exact about that. I used to do that. And what I noticed was a lot of people was kind of scared to actually call out what Canelo was doing. And it was like around the time when it was like right around the time when he was getting ready to fight, when he went on his European tour. When he used his little strap. When he went and used his little strap and he went on that tour. And he got one of them Callum Liams, whatever. He got Yildirim. He left Caleb Plant at the altar, and like nobody was saying nothing. Like everybody was sweating like Caleb Plant. And I'm like, he left Caleb Plant at the altar. Caleb Plant had a right to ask for whatever in this, and like, cause he was at the mercy of Canelo. And yes, we know Canelo was the A side. But that's around the time when I really started like making content, like being out there and being vocal about content. And the spirit behind the channel was silence is consent. Meaning that if you don't say nothing, you agree. And all it takes for evil to prevail is for grown men, and nowadays I add, and women, to remain silent. So I said, man, if it's something out there, I'm going to say something. And I always been, even in relationship, when it came to the numbers game, when it come to having girlfriends, when it came to anything I did, especially like in the gym doing repetitions, I have always been a quality over quantity type guy. Let me say that again. I've always been a quality over quantity type individual. Meaning that if instead of doing 50 push-ups and they sloppy and the form is all messed up, I'd rather do a sharp, crispy 25. Instead of doing 1,000 curls, I'd rather do like 65 in perfect form. So when it comes to doing this content, no, I'm not on every day. And I said this a while ago. You go anywhere and run into a 7-Eleven or McDonald's. So some of these people, they get on every day, and it's like going to 7-Eleven or McDonald's. It's like you're not gonna get. You can get something good to eat, something to snack on, something to quench your thirst. But it's still 7-Eleven. It's still McDonald's. So I always said, man, whether it's in my videos or my live, man, I want you to walk away with something. I want to either challenge your mind, challenge your brain, or do something. So I said, I got to develop my own lane. But what was my own lane? Graphics, visuals, mainly my videos, trying to have something visually appealing, aesthetically pleasing, going over stats, using articles, like incorporating all these factual elements to where it's not, because this is not opinion based, this is fact based content. So that made me stronger in the beginning, because it's like, okay, everybody else, they might be able to get interviews. They are all in a clique. They all, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, this. They the best thing since sliced bread. That's not you, Mike. You're the everyday guy using your critical thinking skills in your brain and applying it to this boxing conversation. So what's going to set you apart, Mike? Well, if you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? What's going to set you apart is that you're genuine in everything that you put out. Genuine in everything that you put out. You fact check. You don't just shoot from the hip, from the seat of your pants. The other thing is, you don't steal. You don't steal. Now, I know that there are times, since we're all watching this boxing shit and we're all talking about this boxing talk, you can see the parallels in some people's conversation. Like some people's, there are parallels, but you don't steal. But I'm noticing, man, and I'll be trying, like with this one dude in particular, I'll be trying really to respect my elders, but You pissing me off, man. You pissing me off. And I did something in my last live just to make sure that you know that I know. Cause there's a lot of motherfuckers that come over there because you don't come on as often, or you're not on every day, that they'll just come out and they'll take your shit. We have parallels in our thinking. There are parallels. If you level-headed, you care about the sport, there are going to be some parallels. And just because somebody do a video on something first and they all elaborate and they do 1,000 videos a day, that don't mean that that's where they first heard it from. It'd be real crazy when I go on live at night and then hear people saying the exact same jargon the next day. And it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But trying to say somebody took something from you, I did it on purpose, dummy. You a fucking parrot. You remind me of that movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. And you not Arnold, nigga. Especially when I've been calling buttfuck tuberculosis Oscar the Grouch for years now. So the fact that you even bring that up in your live, that you be listening. The example I gave about Bob and how Bob said a year and a half ago about how Amazon Prime, it can work for PBC, and I used my inner way. The next day you came out and used the same example. You be listening. And for the longest, I was fucking with you. I was rocking with you. It's just like the setting that you have and the people that you have over is common with another channel. And I don't really, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that channel used to be good, but they all over the place now. They try to give single people relationship advice and they married. Like, what the fuck? You just a parrot to that channel. And you bite a little bit of everybody. It's like going up in the bodega and getting them refried beans every time you come out. So to come out and say somebody took something from you, somebody proved the point. And the fact that you be watching, you just don't say nothing. And I've been on to you when you was part of that dumbass community that you was in. When you was over there with that dumbass community that you was in and you start talking about Coach Calvin and how he only act like that when he around, I was like, man, this nigga's tripping. Because you was part of that community and now you ain't part of that community now. All you got is jokes and to deride that community now. Stop it, bro. Don't nobody gotta take shit from you. All you do is regurgitate the same thing that the earlier channels do. That's all you do. So I figure, man, if you really got a problem, you'll jump your ass out here and, you know what I'm saying, we could go ahead and handle it. If that's what you're trying to do. Because I say, man, I was going to leave well enough alone, but stop playing me. You've been, for years now, you've been taking my shit. For years now, you've been listening to my shit and then doing videos. People be copying thumbnails. I don't say shit. But fuck tuberculosis, this nigga copy my thumbnails all the time. He just flip them. Same concepts. He'll just wait. He'll just flip them. I catch him using the same thing, like the Hamza Shiraz comment. When I was saying if Fundora, before Hamza Shiraz fought Adames, if Fundora fought like Hamza, damn near verbatim. The next day, 2 channels, you Arnold, and Danny DeVito, aka the Twins, both used my example about Brian Norman being like Earl Spence. Or reminding me of Earl Spence. But y'all don't be listening though. No, y'all listen and y'all take, but because people ain't a part of y'all little clique, then you feel like you ain't gotta give credit where it's due. And ain't nobody listening and watching. And it's clear that Arnold, you be falling off the wagon. You fall off the wagon every day. We could tell when you get this, your shit ain't even about boxing no more. I don't even know what it is. But this is this burner account friendly. This burner account friendly. But I really don't understand what boxing talk has become. It's everything but boxing. Motherfucker come out with a thumbnail and a title and have that up there, and you thinking that's what you're going for. Do you know that is a form of clickbait? That's a form of clickbait. When you put it up there and that's what you're going to be talking about, then y'all talk about everything else but the topic. Then every time somebody got a valid point, people want to move on, and people just get to say and regurgitate the same old shit each and every day. That's not growing the sport. I try to tell everybody, like, people be trying to claim, like, just because it was one voice saying some little things, but they play politics all the goddamn time, so they don't never take a firm stance. And they do that with every fight. They did it with Bud and Spence. They doing it with Tank and Shakur. They getting ready to start doing it with Brian Norman and Boots. They just play tennis with it. Just straddle the fence, which is a dangerous position for a man. They just do that shit all the time. They don't ever take a firm stance. And everywhere they go, they just borrow and pilfer and take this idea, and you can't help it. Like, when you're listening to somebody, you use their terminology. Echo chambers, you use that. The Oscar the Grouch, you use that. It's crazy what people be doing, man. They be doing this the stupidest shit I've seen. And tell me if I'm. People will cite other people as being the first person to say something, knowing damn well that's not the first time they ever heard it. That's gaslighting. If I do a video today and you talk about the shit tomorrow, you ain't the first person to say it. Oh, but because you wasn't in my comment section, or you didn't comment in the live, oh, you didn't hear it. You can't help it. It's in your subconscious when you hear it. Back when all this, when this shit was going on, and I was strong, because I've always been one of them ones that's like, man, I don't care, man. I was on another channel, and I was like, man, anybody that don't understand this, I question your business acumen. And this is what we were talking about when I was saying Turkey Al-Sheikh is the Trojan horse. Back when I was asking, is he making American boxing great again? So when people ain't around, just sitting around having a goddamn sausage party, and they actually paying attention, I was calling the man Sugar Daddy Sheik. Whole videos, lives, just going on and on about, man, don't trust this dude. And guess what? Everybody hopping on Jake Paul meat. Everybody hopping on Jake Paul meat now. Like, what? Like, for what? It's a farce. Where he's located and the kind of tax deductions and all that and what he doing, man, it's a business, but like, people y'all just want to praise the new next thing, man, and you got to sit down and look at the longevity of the sport. Yeah, he putting a lot of money into women's boxing, of course. But it's crazy when the first thing you do, and the boxer's gonna say, yeah, why? Because the boxers know that it's short-lived and that, yeah, you got to get all the money you can while you in it, while you still got all your faculties, because they see some of these older guys who can't talk, who can't walk, who can barely speak, who, got GoFundMes and people raising money. So I don't blame the boxers for doing it. But it's crazy when you sit down and you have a boxer on your channel, and the first thing, one of the things you ask, would you be on the Jake Paul undercard? Like, no, why won't he be on mine? We just go around just looking for people to praise, man. Like just looking for it, just slinging narratives all over the place. And biting. People don't really want to talk about boxing. They don't want to talk about how they've done a good job at making us divide. They do the divide and conquer thing. That's all they do. Rinse, wash, repeat, and we let them do it. But don't nobody really want to be doing a deep dive on all these guys and who they are. Don't nobody really want to talk about boxing and what's really going on. That's all they want to do. Sausage party. Talking about the same old shit. Driving the same old narratives. If it's PBC, it's all bad. Like I said, the last card we had, it was a weekend full of boxing. A great night of boxing. I came out and said, let's talk. This was the night of boxing, along with the females that was there. And guess what? Somebody was talking about, well, if PBC. I'm like, hold on, man. There's nothing that happened last night on this weekend had anything to do with the PBC. They got a slander. They got a slander. When I asked the question, this ruffled some feathers. When I said, let's play a game, nobody really wants to fight this man. And then I named off like 6 people that want to fight this man. When I pointed out that it's a great migration. That all the Devin fans, that's why I say I kind of feel bad for Devin. That all the Devin fans, they having a great migration right now. It's sick. But fuck tuberculosis, I don't know which jockstrap he gonna land on. Anybody but Tank. Nobody came out and said nothing about all the excuses. Bob just came out and everybody now they already trying to hamstring. If Tank do pick Loma, they already hamstringing the fight. Talking about, is this spoiled milk? It wasn't spoiled milk when Devin fought him. When 18 months before that, he said that he was too old and too small. And Loma went on to knock out Kambosos. Kambosos getting ready to get a title shot. Loma been out there ducking high. We thinking that he's still in the war or some shit the way he out in them woods camping out. Don't know where the fuck Loma at. But yet Tank had to endure all of the shit that with Loma. He been ducking Loma. I heard he been ducking Loma for 7 years now. I literally just heard that when I was working. He been ducking Loma for 7 years. So any kind of conversation. That's why I say, Tank, you might as well go ahead and fight Roach. Get your Floyd on. Anything that was indicted or in question, Floyd went back and was like, oh, you thought I lost? Oh, you thought, okay, let me go back. Let me show you. And left no question. But I'm just wanting that. I'm just wanting a Roach rematch because I'm from the hood and I don't care about Tank money. It's like, no. I want Tank to get all the money he can. That's why I said I wouldn't blame him if he went over there and he fought Jake Paul. I'm not condoning it. I'm not going to support it. But I hope Tank get all the money he can get because nobody ever give him no credit. They don't give Earl Spence no credit. They don't even give this man no credit. I seen some shit today where somebody talking about, oh, because of the back, Terrence getting jumped on because of the backlash. Like, Terrence said something dumb, as always. He should start his own promotional company. You would think Tank was signing him as much as Bud talk about Tank. You would think Earl did something to his woman or something. The way he be talking about, but just I don't know, man. But I noticed that certain people like and vibe with certain other kind of people or whatever, and the only victory, I guess people would never win it. So every chance they get, I've been even seen some fake ass conversations about the Charlos coming back. People, y'all don't care about the Charlos. Y'all don't care about the Charlos. If y'all care about the Charlos, then Naoya Inoue and Terrence Crawford and Devin Haney wouldn't be the only ones that y'all talk about when y'all talk about Undisputed. Nobody ain't say nothing when Bo Mack told Derrick James, you don't know nothing about Undisputed. I'm like, yes he does. He got Jamel Charlo Undisputed, duh. Ain't nobody say nothing. So even though Bud kicked the shit out of Earl in that fight, that don't dismiss, like, people just let shit ride. Why? Because they want to be a part of something. I was trying to talk about this, and I see a lot of people using my format and shit. People using my shit. I was trying to talk about this. Don't nobody give Richardson Hitchens no credit. They don't even talk about him. If y'all cared about legacy, y'all be talking about the champs. But when it come time to play the accolade game, oh man, well listen, man, he did, man, look, he got the right, man, he ain't got, listen, whatever, man. You having a sausage party. Y'all don't care about champions and legacy unless you trying to win a damn argument. That's all it is. Don't nobody give a fuck. Don't nobody be checking Bill when he be out here being Wild Bill and saying all this shit. Then all of a sudden when people say so, oh my gosh, you're coming down on the black father. I be like, man, I be ready to crack the shit out of somebody for saying that. It just irks my nerves. They said they was gonna go in there and unalive Ryan. Now after the fact, because he took some Ostarine, or had some Ostarine, or didn't report really, because that's really what it was. Because it wasn't reported as a supplement, the supplements he took wasn't reported. And he pleaded out because his lawyer told him, man, you gonna pretty much get the time. You gonna get a year. Don't waste no more money. Don't waste no more time. Just plead that shit out and you'll be fighting in a year. And that's what he did. And everybody running with it. But Wild Bill, he get to get out here and say anything, disrespecting people and they father, publicity stunt, trying to talk about. And Norman, I seen the interview with Brian Norman Jr. He was like, man, yeah, I respect everything. Brian Norman Jr. is smart. I'm gonna tell you that because he know exactly what to say. He know exactly what to say, but he already know that tangled web because it was gonna be all kind of nasty, crazy, stupid, janky ass narratives if he went in there and sparred with Devin. Next thing you know, Devin knocked him down 3 times, and Devin ain't there. Devin can't even bust a goddamn grape. Don't nobody say nothing about. There's only one channel that's really pumping hard for what's really going on, and I ain't even gonna say his name. Y'all know who he is, but he be pumping hard about what's really going on, and everybody associated with VC. Everybody else just turning the other cheek. Cookie Monster, Bodywork. She said, sounding good. Al Montes. Salute, Al Montes. What you think about Top Rank possibly joining with PBC? I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. And I don't know if it was forced. I think now that they have see, the jig is up, right? Because think about this. The jig is up on that and how people are saying they're forced to be in work with. I think that right now they got it, like, I'm gonna say certain people are getting exposed because a lot of the time, see, the side of the street shit goes back to shit. It goes way back. But a lot of people point at Tim Bradley as being the one that actually came out, that actually said, as of the more recent time, like when he was fighting and he said something about the side of the street and this whole narrative that Bud couldn't go playing any reindeer games with everybody over there in PBC and all that, right? They kept that going. Because if you go back and look at the interviews, like it's like, yeah, okay, so let's just say they let's just say they didn't let you play in any reindeer games. Every other interview, you were saying you didn't know whether you wanted to go, whether the fight was behind you or not. Nah, Earl, is that fight behind me? Oh, no, tell Earl. Then when Earl get in the car accident, oh, tell Earl pull his panties out his butt. Just flip-flopping all over the place. So what really happened was, with Turkey giving out a turkey bag, with people like Shakur running over there getting more money than, you know, he said he got more money than he ever got paid for fighting an electrician. He got more money than he ever got paid for fighting an electrician. You got casual boxing fans that'll tell you, oh man, you go get you a turkey bag. It's like, yes, as a civilian looking on the outside looking in, go get all the money you can get. But if you think about business and the longevity of it, be wise and be prudent in the decisions you make. The people you lay down in bed with and do business with. Why? Because it might not end up all right for you. It might be okay. Yeah, you got that bad. Look at Jared Anderson. But what happened was, people have been playing that side of the street when it was convenient for them. Because before we heard any news about Bob Arum, well, we heard news. We heard, like I said, it's been about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, when they asked, because this was when PBC was transitioning from Showtime over to Amazon Prime, when they asked Bob Arum, and I know because I did a video about it in real time back then. And Bob Arum said that it could work as long as all the fights were not pay-per-view. He said because Inoue was fighting on Amazon Prime. So he knew that it could work mathematically and all that. He knew the ins and outs because he knew what Inoue was able to do. That's how they was actually seeing Inoue using Prime. Bob Arum had said that a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. So the stage had already been set. It was just convenient for content creators to play this. Oh man, that's PBC. Oh man, that's this. It's like, no, Amazon was a stage. And people be talking about Netflix like, oh my gosh, but then they don't say shit. I'm talking about, you talking about Amazon versus Netflix, bro. Amazon versus Netflix. And it had been known that Amazon could be able to, would have the capacity to be able to do it. It's just that because PBC did it, because you see how everybody praise Jake Paul and give him credit for his ties in with Netflix, but PBC and all them for the longest time, and even still to this day, they get demonized. Oh man, we don't know because that's Amazon Prime and But what happened is boxers just got exposed. So I'm telling you that Bob Arum has said it like a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. Like it was right when they was transitioning, about a year and a half. This their second year since they transitioned right over to Prime. He came out more recently and said that it could work, right? But before everybody started running with this whole narrative about, well, not narrative, but this whole clip about Bob Arum saying that it could work this most recent time, what were we hearing before that? What were we hearing? Wasn't we hearing about a Keyshawn and the De La Santos before that? Light bulb. That's what I've been trying to say. I said, man, y'all been listening to this guy because it's the same shit I said when Shakur said, hey, because I gotta paint a picture for y'all. Because visualization will help out everything. When I was saying, all right, y'all, make it make sense. When I was saying, all right, y'all, make it make sense. Shakur Stevenson said he wants undisputed. He was over there on Top Rank, where at that time, Baranchek and Loma were over there. And they had the belts. He said, I want undisputed. He then leaves them. We find out that him and Tank was in talks, and Shakur wanted, according to Espinosa, Shakur was looking for something like a multi-fight deal, and at this time, whatever worked. And Espinosa did a good job at not trying to slander Shakur, whatever. He just said, man, listen, it's like he wanted, you know what I'm saying, he wanted more than just a one-off. So he said he's gonna go explore whatever. But he had already knew he was going over the Matchroom before he even really left. Right after the what was that? The Harvatunian fight. It was like a record-breaking free agency. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna take my time and we kind of win our options and we gonna do this. It was record-breaking from the time he went from being over there with Top Rank, where they had like that 5-fight deal, and we go over this all the time about all the possible names. It would have been a Morataya in there somewhere. We know it probably wouldn't have been a Keyshawn, but we know Navarrete had a signed contract. We even heard here recently where Jermaine Ortiz said when he was over there at 35, he had a signed contract. That's not included in his 5-year deal. This one he said he was at when they was at 35. He said he had a signed contract. So Navarrete and Jermaine Ortiz, when he was over there, said they had signed contracts to fight Shakur, and they don't know what happened. Then Jermaine Ortiz gets offered the T.O. fight, and he was like, well, what was I supposed to do once that happened? Bigger fight. That was a bigger fight. But it was a Morataya. You gotta think he was either gonna get Loma or a crack at Baranchek. And then everybody was talking about Zepeda, but I was one of the first people to say, listen, man, I'm not buying it. Why? Not just to slander Shakur, but I said we got to look at the history of Oscar De La Hoya. How many times have he dangled that carrot out? Saying that somebody's going to get one of his fighters like Virgil Ortiz. Before he finally, you know what I'm saying, came into his own and really, he had some health issues, but we saw it with Virgil Ortiz. We saw it with Ryan until Ryan, you know what I'm saying, decided to say, hey, after the first time, after the first round with Tank, that didn't go well. So he went back, he cited mental health, but then he said he pushed for it. Ryan still wasn't going to do it, and it was evident when he said what he said about Schofield when that fight finally came to fruition. Oh no, I was trying to tell him that he needs to stay and wait. Like, no, it's not something, you got plenty of time. You know, we know how to build champions over here. And you can see what he did with, he had some success in Canelo's career. So I'm not saying Oscar didn't know what he's doing. I was just saying you couldn't trust him to actually offer up as a Zepeda. Because you talking about, they say a bird in the hand. So the one off with Tank is the bird in the hand. To go over the Matchroom, the two in the bush was a Joe Cordina and a William Zepeda. We didn't get Joe Cordina or William Zepeda. And I was one of the first ones out here talking about, oh man, like, listen, man, I know y'all probably think I'll be hating on Shakur, but I'm like, how the fuck are they going to promise if he goes sign with Matchroom and Zepeda is a Golden Boy fighter? How you going to promise that? But because I was involved with a lot of sausage parties, people who had weenies in their ears, had hot dogs everywhere, hot dog juice. I'm like, they don't want to listen. You can't promise us no damn Zepeda because you don't got no control over Zepeda. And everybody fall for it, hook, line, and sinker. So why would you go sign with Matchroom? You tell Eddie and them, like, nah, don't even try to make a Tank fight. Don't even try, like, listen, man, nope. And that's when I also said, here and somewhere else where I already thought that shit was in the works. They were just going to play the media, play the fans. They knew something behind closed doors. Because all of a sudden, he stopped talking about Tank. Now, he back out talking about Tank again now. But I was thinking it was best laid plans, especially when Tank came out and said he had this list. And if they both was going, well, if one party was going around saying that it's the biggest fight in boxing, and the fans were saying, we really want to see that fight, because the demand for that fight is starting to creep up there with the demand for the Spence and Spence and Bud fight. The demand is creeping up to that point where people just want to see it now already. But I said, how you gonna go leave the bird in hand, which was Tank, the one fight deal with Tank? How you gonna leave that for 2 in the bush? That's why they say a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. Well, them two still in the bush, Shakur. So he knew going over there with Matchroom that couldn't be guaranteed. But guess what? He got the benefit of being over there with Matchroom, calling out a Golden Boy fighter. Until we see something signed, sealed, and delivered, and we hear a date and the time, Keyshawn was getting the benefit of saying Tank name, just like Loma, just like Devin, just like T.O., when they all was over there at Top Rank. And you can actually see through the belts. Don't just take my word. Look at how the belts were moved. Loma was the man. T.O. got a shot with Loma. They were both on Top Rank. When Devin finally got his shot with Loma, they were on Top Rank. Because after Eddie built them up, he left. Went to Top Rank to get the Undisputed. One fight, Undisputed, against Kambosos. But they all get the benefit of calling out people that's cross promotion. That's why I said, man, I was like, listen, man, that's why I fell back from Keyshawn. I said, listen, man, you got talent. You on the rise. I said, do not fall into that Devin Haney shit where you just saying Tank name knowing damn well you ain't gonna fight him. And you can go bounce around. You leave Showtime. You go get with the Zone. You leave the Zone. You go good with Bob. You leave Bob. You go get your ass dusted off with Golden Boy. And now you fighting for Turkey. Everywhere but the PBC. But I'm wrong for connecting the dots. So what's happening now by the news that PBC and Top Rank going to work together, a lot of these boxers about to get exposed. Because what's their excuse now? It's like them dogs, when them dogs be barking and they let the gate open and they just be standing there. Arf, arf, arf. It's like the gate is open now, dog. Arf, arf. But people want to believe that don't nobody want to fight Shakur. And Shakur saying it's the biggest fight, but every time you ask him about, oh, man, well, my hands got to heal, but then instantly he want to fight Roach. I still have yet to have a damn Shakur butt hugger, nut hugger, OnlyFans answer that question. So I think it's great that Bob came out and said, but Bob didn't need to come out and say it. Why? Because it only made sense with Amazon Prime being just another platform. But they got to know that with Tank having ties with PBC and Al, and that's how he got to his wealth. And you got to think that maybe just like when Top Rank got that deal and they leveraged Bud by signing Bud, by having Bud under the wing, that's how Top Rank had grabbed that big ass contract with ESPN. They just used his budget or the money that they got to put into Tyson Fury and Lomachenko. Bud was getting some good guarantees now, and that's why everybody want to have this talking point about guarantees. But you got to think that when they landed this Amazon deal, you got to think somehow, some way, the money man, Tank Davis, had to be somewhere in it. But everybody want him to leave where he at. But nobody was saying that shit when it came down to Bud. It was, oh no, they ain't letting them play no reindeer games over there with PBC. The minute he left and he went and got whatever, what happened? Earl was like, yeah, I'm trying to make this fight. He left him at the altar, went over there with Black Prime. And everybody know that it's not the most popular thing to talk about because there's a lot of people that hate on PBC, but everybody know that PBC, they make the biggest fights. Regardless of everybody's infatuation with the Trojan horse, aka Sugar Daddy Sheik. Y'all don't want to talk no boxing. Y'all don't want to talk about what's really going on because y'all too scared. Of what? I don't know, because y'all all y'all gonna do is flip-flop and be hindsight is 2020s. Yes, for a full-time pro boxer, 3-division champ to fight a full-time / part-time pro boxer, yes, that was the most money ever paid for a fight like that. Keyshawn versus De La Santo, Janovic versus Adames, Tank versus Loma. Sign me up. But notice, listen, when you listen to the big channels now, they already saying that this a bad fight because Keyshawn is picking De La Santos off of a long layoff and the shoulder injury and the blood clot, and they already saying that Tank versus Loma, why Loma now? Because he spilled milk. That's what they do. It's disgusting, the narrative that they paint. They ain't say shit when Berlanga just fought a motherfucker that just did a 10-year bid. They just gobble Berlanga, man. They love that Berlanga, man. It's weird to even say this, man. I don't know. I ain't even gonna say it, man. Just to say they love them some Berlanga, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. They ain't say shit when he fought that dude coming off a team. But everything that PBC do is get hamstring, or the people that report on it, they always throw out like, and that's why I say about the proper volley. The proper volley is when you throw out an open-ended question, like, hey guys, what do you think about the Tank versus Loma fight? And leave it there and let people come to their own conclusion. Don't be like, hey guys, what do you think about the Tank and Loma fight? Because I always thought that fight is like 7 years old. But what do y'all think? That's what they do. Instead of, what y'all think about Keyshawn versus De La Santos, man? What y'all think about that fight? They don't say that. They say, oh man, what y'all think about Keyshawn versus De La Santos, man? Oh man, because listen, man, I for me, I think that De La Santos, man, he been out, man, he been inactive, man, and blah blah blah. But they don't do that. They don't do that with it came down to Berlanga. This is the checkmate. When it came down to Berlanga and that Montequilla, oh man, listen, man, he fought. Cause I looked up his resume. He fought Jerron Ennis' brother and all that. Montequilla, man. Look at his record, man. He a beast, man. They don't say nothing about the dude just doing a 10-year bid. Then he came out with a muffin top and it looked like he had a C-section. I'm like, you had a baby in there? They don't say nothing, but whenever it come up to PBC, they hamstring the whole conversation. And a lot of these places have already groomed their sheeple as to how to respond and what to talk about. Because they'll do a show and throw a title up in there and have some people on there that they really don't give a fuck about talking about. And then be like, man, I wonder why y'all never want to talk about such and such. Why y'all never want to talk about David Benavidez? Because y'all know, because you've been shitting on David Benavidez all this time. Why nobody want to call in about the Charlos? Because you've been shitting on the Charlos all this time. Where all the Earl sections at? They never really want to call about Earl, man. Because you be shitting on Earl all the time. But where's all the people defending PBC now? Because you be shitting on the PBC like every day. 2 times a day. I wish we would just police up the conversation. I wish everybody would just be themselves and come with whatever they got. Stop stealing people's artwork. Stop stealing people's analogies. Stop stealing people's time, effort, and research and energy that they put into these conversations. Cite them as that's where you got it from. Stop being so political all the time. Take a stance. Sometimes life is binary. Often it's a lot of gray area. But sometimes life is binary. It's hot or cold. It's up or down. It's wet or dry. But people are mimicking. Like, it's just like people coming on talking about doing the same shit that the Pop the Balloon guy doing. It's like, that's just not nothing original about you doing it. So somebody do a video about it earlier and you gonna come by and do a video about it later. It's not nothing original about you doing it. Especially when you talking about the same old shit. People ain't even taking notes. We got people we got main channels, we got big channels who sitting up there giving their opinion on fight. Like, how the fuck you gonna give opinion about the whole Tevin Farmer and William Zepeda, the whole saga, and you ain't even watched the whole first fight? How do you have any opinion on it? You didn't even watch the whole first fight, and I doubt that you watched the second one. You watched the highlights. Bum longer. Look, I don't got nothing personal about I don't have nothing personal against Berlanga. I don't have anything actually, when he fought Padraig McCrory, Berlanga won me money. I was like, salute, Chan. I did a post about he won me money. He was good money. But see, me, I'm gonna actually speak the truth about him. You ain't deserve no parade for going in there and doing the same thing Jermell Charlo got, especially when I could see if the reception or the reaction for Jermell Charlo wasn't as bad. But they treated Jermell, like last time I checked, Canelo hit him and Charlo took a knee. He countered Berlanga and knocked his ass down, knocked the juice off of him when he fell. But guess what? All in all, they both got washed. Only Jermell Charlo was undisputed at 54, where he went by and collected strap by strap. The same shit Earl was on this quest to do, except for Earl got up to 3. Jermell Charlo went up and got them all, one by one by one. And because he went up there and he got washed by Canelo, he gets totally disrespected. Berlanga gets a parade. He got a parade. Then after that fight, after getting washed by Canelo, he had the nerve to say Tank can't come out there to Puerto Rico. Like, is you crazy? So it's just like, yeah, I mean, he cool. I like Berlanga as a person, right? But the attitude and the mentality after that, he a cool dude. He is, but it's like the picture they paint, how nasty the people online be when they be talking about boxing. It's disgusting. It's like, do you even want to engage in that kind of conversation when you know people just gonna gaslight you, and because it's like 5 against, sometimes it'd be like 5 against 2, where with 5 people just saying the same dumbass shit. And the minute you put somebody in the crosshairs and get ready to pull that motherfucking trigger, everybody went, oh man, listen, man, hold on, man. We ain't even gonna talk. Yeah, because you know y'all talking some dumbass shit. And ain't nobody trying to get down to the bottom of it. And most of the time the hosts, they don't want to check it. They don't want to check it. They want to let the shit ride. Why? Because they think it's going to equate to more likes, clicks, and views. They think it's going to lead to more money. No. Being genuine, having an objective in your conversation, and actually getting there, arriving there, has value. It's like watching a good fight. When you play it back, it has playback value. He used to be a good prospect at 54, then got caught up in this 10-year bid, blew up 300. Yeah, I know he was good. I know, I don't take away from it. I'm just saying the conversation surrounded Almontes, the conversation around it, right, was just not good for me, because it's like, why ain't nobody saying nothing about it? They just gave him an excuse. I'm like, well, if I don't know. It's the same shit that people do when they come around to Shakur. When they say these things and then you ask a question, oh, why are you hating? It's like, don't worry about, okay, if you perceive me hating, okay, cool. Answer my goddamn question, though. Whether you think I'm hating or not, answer my question. See, nah, that's okay, man. I'm not, yeah, because you know I'm not hating. Your dumb ass don't be doing no research, and you're not as critical of certain fighters as you are of others. So when the shit get flipped, and you on the other end of the barrel, and the rabbit got the gun, now you trying to run. Bills. Salute, Bills. Salute, Bills, man. I appreciate you coming through, man. Berlanga caught a beating versus good. Like, yeah, man. Again, I say this is burner account friendly, man. So if you got something you want to say, you got something you want, you know what I'm saying? If you my homie and you want to get up here and speak some, you know what I'm saying, get up here and you know, rock out, cool. But if you got something you want to get off your chest, or something you want to address, well, you don't got to worry about being muted, silenced. Nah, I don't think so. Fulton versus Shushu, I like the idea of it. But like, this is what I don't like. Hold on. It's Fulton. I don't think so. Rengoku. Salute. I don't think so, Rengoku. But this what I don't like, and I'm gonna bring AC. Let me do this real quick. This what I don't like about this. This what I don't like, right? Shushu, he did what he needed to do the other night. You know, regardless of how Tim Bradley was hating on him, he still got his man the fuck up out of there, right? Afterwards, he was very direct. He looked right into the camera. He said, I want Nick Ball. He kept stressing Nick Ball. But the narrative makers, the people that get out here and create these narratives and talk boxing, they were saying everything but Nick Ball. The man said that's who he wants. Then he said, I want Fulton. But people are so good at narratives, they so good at grooming sheep, that they'll have everybody focused on the wrong fucking thing, man. So when a dude is very specific, then when they ask them, they say, oh man, I'm just, then they try to paint this now, I'm disappointed he didn't say nothing about Rafael Espinosa. He said, man, I chopped down that tree. I've been calling for that name. You know that. Even though I think Espinosa, I think that's a dangerous task. But hey, if they got it in the plans, I think that they know what the plans are for Rafael Espinosa. He got a fight coming up too. But I think they know the plans for him. But see, Shushu, that right there, it was another thing to where he was saying somebody over there on that side of the street too. He was saying something about somewhere, something on that. Nick Ball, he on a different side of the street. So these guys get to say these names that's on a different side of the street. But I like the fact that he was very specific about who he wanted and what he wanted. He didn't say it's two other champions out there and I know who they are and y'all know who you are. You know that I know of what had happened was. Salute, AC. What's going on?
What's going on, bro?
What's happening?
Just wanted to chop it up, man. Basically, just get this kind of off my chest. as boxing fans, people will try to use this against you, and you're the one who keeps talking about global fighters. You're talking about a guy who covers boxers in Asia. You're talking about a guy who covers boxers in the UK and shit like that. And you're like, yeah, I get boxing is a global sport, but then when you get into a debate with these same type of people, and you're talking about two American fighters, they'll try to tell you, no. See, what you don't get, AC, is boxing is a global sport. And you just sitting there like, are you seriously fucking telling me that? When I'm talking to you guys about Japanese fighters and certain fighters that are young coming up out of the UK. For me, I think the Nick Ball, if Shushu can land a Nick Ball fight and win, oh my God, Shushu becomes a superstar. You feel, in my opinion, because to me, I think the energy Nick Ball has behind him in the UK and stuff like that, or Ireland, I don't know which one he's actually from, but there's a lot of energy behind Nick Ball, and his name carry weight overseas. So for Shushu to get to land that fight and then win, I think that'll be a huge victory for him and a big step for him. And I hope he can make the fight, because that's a fight I would love to see all day, every day. To me, that's a main card fight. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Like, are you crazy? Why wouldn't it be a main card fight? You know?
Yeah, because you know what? I foresee that if he can get past Nick Ball, eventually him and Ray Savage is going to get it on. Cause that was the talk. I got real hype. I had almost did a video about it. I had the thumbnail about it and everything. And that's when Savage got edged out by Nick Ball in that fight. Like, cause they was on the cusp. It was on the cusp right when that happened, when Ray Savage lost to Nick Ball.
And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna keep the same energy, bro, and I'm gonna keep putting this out there. If Shishiro Taraji is able to land the Jesse Bam Rodriguez fight, that's a really, really good fight, because I give Jesse the edge when it comes down to fighting off of angles and creating angles, and that's kind of Taraji's weak point. But even though Taraji is really good at that pendulum style, and he's kind of a straightforward fighter, but he adjusts it by going in and out and doing a lot of work off of his jab and shit like that. Taraji has power. When I look at Bam Rodriguez, do a deep dive on his resume, it kind of looks suspect, and it's like, yeah, bro, I'm hearing Japan wants this fight. The Japan market wants this Taraji versus Bam Rodriguez fight. I don't know where, but I see a lot of energy behind that fight, bro. And I'm just saying, if that's a fight that can be made, I mean, those who are big boxing purists that follow Bam and huge fans of Bam, and those people who are looking at Bam and feel, are fans of his, but are also looking at a guy like Taraji, you're like, oh, you're salivating over the possibilities of this fight actually happening.
Yeah. Bam, he's, how I feel about boxers that's in my boxers to watch, man, until proven otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one of them guys where until proven otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna have him. But if that comes to fruition, I'm definitely gonna do my analysis.
Yeah, please hit me up for that one, because I'd love to be on the panel for that one, just to go through it and have that conversation. That's a mean conversation right there, if they can make that fight happen.
Yeah. Yeah, Almontes. I heard about them trying to bring Ray Vargas back. That's like the cruddy side of boxing, man. That's. I mean, but Fulton, from the sounds of it, because from the sounds of things, he's saying what his shoe done and all this. So I'm like, I kind of understand him. I gotta respect him. I was a little hard on Fulton, because I thought he was moping around a little bit. It took him a little time to get his feet out the mud after the Inoue fight, but he finally got, you know how your mom tell you, she'll pull you to the side and be like, fix your face. Fulton finally fixed his face, and he got back, and he dusted off what's that dude name? The pretty what's his name? I think they call him the lover boy or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
In his part 2, and he dusted him off and showed everything he needed. Ray Vargas been on a hiatus. I don't like when they do it, but it's only a few people saying that that's not right, and he's coming off of it. But they ain't gonna put up a big fuss about it if it happened. They just gonna ride with it because he got a fan base. That's a good idea to fight Leo. What's been going on with Leo though? And then with Norman and Jin Sasaki, me and AC gonna be going at it with this one because I think Norman gonna knock the stuffings out of Jin Sasaki, man.
I can't wait for this one. Because I'm gonna be calling out specific fights and be like, look at how he just rolled up under that. Yeah, this guy isn't this, but look at that. Just look at that potential to just roll over it, then come back with that mean ass hook, bro. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's gonna be some shit.
You right. Brandon Figueroa. Yeah, I always forget his name. But yeah, man, I think that's big for Norman, but that's big for Jen, because shoot, he could upset the apple cart. Like it's still within the realm of possibility, you know. Norman get a little too high, but I think Norman is on to something as far as, man, Norman said, man, y'all done let me get too comfortable in this thing. Y'all let me heal. Y'all let me, y'all done let me figure this thing out, man. I think that that's a tough cookie, man. That's a tough cookie, man. Like
I'm gonna keep it a beam though. As of right now, just talking about recency biasness and looking for who's actually taken the turn and start embracing themselves and found who they are, I got to give that edge to Brian Norman. So in just that part alone, because both of these guys just come in there to throw leather, I would probably give the edge of the fight right now. If they were to fight next, I would give that edge, honestly, no cap. As much as I'm a big fan of Jin Sasaki, I would give the edge to Brian Norman, because there's something that clicked in Brian Norman.
Look, I seen it a minute ago, because look, when I came out and I did this when I was doing my series on D Block, I said that it's no longer the glamour division, and because you know who D Block is, you know who the mighty D Block is. You know what I'm saying? That's the locks. You know, I was like, look, this is not the glamour division. I said this division is brutal. I was like, the only question mark I actually have, ironically, who's the most decorated is Mario Barrios. He got the most experience and he's the most decorated. But I said, this ain't the glamour division, but don't get it twisted. Because remember, I was saying everybody's sleeping on it because Bud and Earl went out the way. I said, but those are people that don't know what the fuck they talking about, because the welterweight division is deep. And I said, it's just D Block. I said, it's rough and rugged. I said, it ain't gonna be no, they got boots with the flashy stuff and all that, but I said, it ain't gonna be no easy stuff. It's knockdown, drag out any given night. So any kind of mixture, with the exception of Barrios, I don't think what I seen with Barrios, I think that they fuck around, let him get in there with Norman right now. Oh man, that shit gonna look ugly, bro.
Yeah, but he gonna destroy Barrios right now.
But with these three right here, with the champs and how it is, that's a rough, rugged. That's why I was calling it D Block. People didn't catch on to what I was saying back when I put that out there, man. It's not. And I'm gonna be at the fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be at that Boots and Stan Giannis. I'm in there, man.
Yeah, for sure. Although stylistically, I think the more exciting fight would have probably been fucking Brian Norman and Stanionis.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. But
look at Almontes, man. Hey, you related to this guy, man? Look what he said.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about Andy, because Andy was the guy who beat him. And Andy, what's crazy is both Jin and Andy, I don't know how, but both of them are actually ranked number 1 in Japanese boxing, and both of them are still in the same weight class, if I'm correct. So yeah, Andy's a problem. I'm not gonna sleep. Andy's a tough motherfucker. Andy, I would say, is like the Japanese version of Steven So Cold Nelson. You feel what I'm saying? So, yo, Andy's a problem. But the thing where I think most of Japan, the Japanese market, is really looking at like Taraji and Jin, is because Jin has that heavy anime persona about him. He always comes into a fight with the anime costume, and they think that'll translate a lot better in the American market. You feel what I'm saying? This is why I think there's a big push for Jin to get a decent name, or a big name in an American fight, because they think that Jin is going to be a better sell to the American market than Inoue. Outside of putting the camera in front of Inoue, it's like, we don't really care. You feel what I'm saying? But Jin, just when he talks, and even though he's talking in his native language, you get this like energy from him. Yeah, you absolutely right. Don't nobody want to fight Andy, and Andy's at 140. Okay, I thought he was. I know when him and Jin fought, that wasn't at 147. I don't remember. I think it was at 140.
Yeah, but with the welterweight division, it's loaded too. It's just people give it a negative connotation since Bud and Earl is not there. But that division that's like the same people that was waiting and clogging up the pipeline, and then the people moving up. I was like, it's so many good fights that could happen there. I think it's right behind. Sometimes I battle between which division more stacked, either 140 or 154. I like 140, I like 154, and I think the welterweight division is like right behind it. You know what I'm saying? When you really look at who's there.
Go ahead, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I got a fight at 147 that'll make you that'll be like, whoa. Just think about it. Rohan versus Tiger.
Man, I think Rohan, respectfully, man, I think Rohan will give Tiger everything he needs right now, man.
Yo, but just the ramifications of that fight, would you not want to see that motherfucker? Yeah. Bro, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, look, if you just go by their last performances, woo, oh my God.
And I used to be kind of high on Tiger, man. Then I seen him and because he kind of remind me of Regis a little bit. Like, and I don't know if it was like the thing that was going on with Elvis Rodriguez too, as far as the weight. So I might give him, I might give Tiger a little credit, because maybe it was the weight cut. But this, like, when I say he's like Regis, is some of my fighters, man, they fall asleep in the middle round, and you can't do that. So I find Tiger, he'll come out looking good, looking crispy, and then he'll fall asleep to where it's like it'd be like after the third, fourth round, it's like nothing happened. It's just the same thing. And then at the end, he might figure it out and try to do something. But it's like when the competition is stiff, you can't afford to do that. Because that's how Regis actually lost to Josh Taylor. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, and Regis got a tendency to do that. But he said he KO'd Grandpa Barroso. And then he said the same thing I said. Polanco will, yeah, man. That dude Polanco, he got a tight defense. Like man, that dude is dangerous, bro. I've been ever since I seen him. I knew, just like you know what I wanted to see, Almontes. This is what I wanted to see. I wish Polanco would have stayed at 40, because I would love to see Polanco and Tito Mercado. What do you think about that? I would love to see Polanco, and I think that'll be a good fight. Rohan is my Dominican brethren. Okay. He said Tiger Laws versus Alamo. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to see. I was like, man, because I was like, man, I was kind of wondering, do Polanco got the dimensions for welterweight? But I think his power and his defense is enough. Like, I think he's sound enough and mean enough to where you got to deal with what he's coming with. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to crack that shell. It's not, I don't think he's as fluid as Charles Conwell, but they kind of similar to where they got some hot shit in the midst, and you got to be able to crack their defense. If you can't crack their defense, that hot shit in their midst is going to give you fits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you said explosive. You said you got Polanco. Okay. I like to see that, man, because Tito Mercado was being avoided too, man. He's doing everything he need to do without outright being like super duper disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think they're gonna try to get that man to move up out of his weight class just to try to get a scrap, and I don't want to see him do that. I don't know what Eddie got. There's so much talent over there with Eddie, man. I don't know what he doing. He got his fighters calling out people all over, you know what I'm saying, all over the place, but in-house when he was famous for the in-house shit before. I don't get it, but you know what I'm saying? You see, Mercado relies too much on his power. Polanco has more tools. I mean, but I've seen I don't know, man. That might be a little recency bias, Al, because Tito don't really fight the way he fought against, even though he got Pedraza out of there in the fourth, he don't really fight like that all the time. He was kind of loading up, and because I think he wanted to do so much better than Keyshawn that he was trying to make a real statement, but he don't typically fight like that. The dude got skills, bro. Like, trust me. Anybody that make it in my boxes to watch or somebody that I talk about, man, I don't just talk about everybody, man. I mean, I have knowledge of them, but I don't co-sign everybody, man. I co-sign Tito. I don't know what would happen because I'm high on Polanco. I would love to see that fight, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard for me to comment here because I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I like aspects of Mercado, but I just see Rohan with just too many tools taking him apart and then possibly stopping him because he just has a certain flow with himself, and you feel what I'm saying? Again, maybe this is one of those things where we're talking about two guys who came up. You feel what I'm saying? Who came up from 140, from at least 140, and now they're at 147 and looking extremely sharp.
Well, Tito's still at 40, but he ain't.
Yeah, that's my bad. But I'm talking about Polanco more so, and Tiger.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, just talking about these two guys, they're both coming up looking really, really sharp. That's a future fight for me as far as Mercado goes. Mercado, fucking with them, I don't have him, whatever, but, at 140, anything's possible because when I look at a division that's wide open, I see 140 as a tough division that's wide open. You can't, on any given night, a good champion can just get outboxed.
Let me show you something though. And this is not just for you. This is for everybody, man. This is for everybody. Look, he's 5'10", so he about the same height. He's the same height as Keyshawn, right? They don't have his reach. But he's 23. He's 23.
I don't know if your mic went dead, Body.
Is my mic going? You can't hear
Yeah,
me?
you good now.
Okay. All
But
right.
the last we heard from you, you said he's 23, and then it went blank.
Okay, he's 23, but let's look at his resume. Like, this is what people don't really understand. Because they not pushing him, and they're not pushing him because he's on the other side of any of our favorite guys. But look, if you look right here, let's just go to Angulo. He's stopping everybody. First round, second round. This is where it started getting crazy. This is where it started heating up right here. Look. He go in there with Hank Lundy, the dude that, you know what I'm saying, shared the ring with Bud. He get Hank Lundy out there in the first round. He go the distance with Endo Jenny, right? But look at the scorecards: 99-91, 99-91, 99-91. A utter blowout. He go in there, he get this guy who's 23, 4-0. He first round, he get him out of there. He go in there with Jeremy Nakatila, the one that people say was the first glimpse to where you start seeing Shakur put his hands in his pocket. He go in there and blast this dude out in the second round. He knocked this dude out in the second round, bro.
Yeah.
Then you got this guy, Christian Bielma, 19-6-2, another second round knockout. This dude was 22-4, a third round knockout. Sarmiento, a third round knockout. And then when Keyshawn fought this dude, I don't know how far he went. The dude is a problem, and this ain't no Belonga. This ain't no Belonga record. He's spelling, like in football, when they say spell, like when you spell a running back, he's spelling some of these top guys. He's getting common opponents with these guys. Pedraza common with he did it faster. Nakatila.
No, I get it. It's
Everybody go back and everybody go back, do your homework, do your research on them, and look at the fights. You know what I'm saying? Don't just listen to the conversation around them. And do the same thing for Rohan. Do the same thing.
So let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this. Mercado versus Gary Antoine. Is that one of those things that get you with the villain hand thing where you rubbing one hand over the other, looking around like a villain?
Yeah, I actually have my hand on my chinny chin hairs just now. You know what I'm saying? I'm rubbing my chinny chin hairs right now, like because I ain't gonna lie. Gary Antoine, man, he was like my man 50 grand for the longest time. And when I saw somebody when I saw him fight that Puello fight, I was like, But it was glimpses of it when he doesn't have the reach, because I think for some reason he might have short arms, man. Because as much as I thought how big he was, he's not that big, and I don't think his arms are that long. So if you got some reach, it's like, remember the conversation we had the night before? Remember the conversation we had about Riches and Hitches and Paro?
Yeah.
And I said how much the reach is gonna play.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them things, man, to where if you have the skills and you got decent feet, but you got longer reach, I think you can give Gary problems, man. And because it's how he comes in. He got that, him and T.O. got that same thing, even though T.O. is an orthodox and Gary Antoine is a southpaw. I think they got that same thing. It's something that they do when they getting on the inside to where they're vulnerable. Like, but if you let them get on the inside, it's danger, you know. But if you know how to use your stick, move your feet, or take that half step back, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So right now, I would say experience-wise, Gary would have it. I would say experience-wise, but I think Tito is well-rounded, man. I don't think he'll take the same approach to Pedraza because he wanted to steamroll Pedraza. I think he went in that fight the same way that T.O. went in there with Kambosos with, but Pedraza ain't really had nothing for him. You know, he ain't have nothing like Kambosos had for him, but he went in there with that. I'm about to just fuck this dude. I'm about to knock his dick in the dirt early. And it didn't look the way he normally looked, but he still got it done in 4 rounds. So I think a lot of people didn't see it. It's just that's the last fight. You know, people be trying to say, oh, you only good as your last performance and all that, but you know, that's an interesting fight. I think it'll be a minute before they even allow that to happen. It'll be a minute before they even allow that. I think he'll probably get like a Duarte or a Medueno, or he'll probably get one of them he'll probably get one of them volume punching Hispanic guys, a couple of them before. He probably had to go through the ringer a little bit or be forced to move up out of his weight class before he really get to even sniff a Gary Antoine or something like that.
Yeah. No, I get it. I definitely get it.
But I want to say Gary Antoine wins, and you say Puello was able to counter effectively. But then when I seen what Sandro Martin was able to do with Puello, and Sandro Martin not really having that power, but how he handled the first half of that fight, I was like, wow. Like, I was shocked at how Sandro was handling Puello in the first 6 rounds, like in the first half. It was like, I'm like, damn. Sandro Martin is nice. He just saying I don't think he got enough power. But
yeah, he don't got those shots that can actually make the referee take notice of what he's doing in there. Because I don't understand how this guy like for me, I don't get the robberies. That's the hardest part for me.
yeah, I think Puello came on. He throughout the fight, he did have the more effective. He had the more like popping your head back, like oh shit, like type punches. But Puello was injured in the fight. To be honest, was he? So you gotta give me the scoop, Al Montes, man. What you think about what you? All right. I got some questions for y'all now. I got some questions for y'all now. Where you stand at on Subriel Matias? And now Tito, if Tito get in there with Subriel Matias, and you know what I'm saying, if he willing to jump in there with Subriel, and he happened to get his hand raised, I think then people will be like, oh yeah, okay, I want to get with this dude. But he gonna have to do something like that. Like they gonna have to put him in a position like that. And right now, my question is, Subriel is actually putting it out there that by June, because Hitchens get a voluntary, right? He get a voluntary, but by June he got to make a decision, and and Richardson Hitchens is going to have to fight Subriel Matias. What do you think about that, AC?
So Subriel got to make a decision, and Richardson Hitchens is gonna
No,
do
Richardson
his thing.
Hitchens got to make a decision because Sabril is back up for the mandatory. Like he's the mandatory now. Like he's back up for it. He on the countdown now. I think you got like 180 days, and he's back up there.
Mm-hmm. I've just figured just by the aura of Sabril and the fact that everybody was talking about him, it wasn't going to be too long before he's back in the mix. You feel what I'm saying? All he needed was basically one impressive victory. So who's Sabril supposed to? He's back in the mix for Puello. No, Puello.
No, Sabril's back. He's back in that IBF line. He still want the IBF. But like Almonte said, he said they haven't ordered it yet.
All right, just like, because I'm just a tiny bit lost as to the exact question you asking me.
How do you see a fight going between Sabril Matias and Richardson Hitchens? Because he wanted strap back. That's like a triangle because.
Oh yes. Now I understand what you asking me. All right, now I can answer it. Let me say it like this. I was a person that was kind of saying, listen, I don't know if Sabril beats Puello. You feel what I'm saying? I learned my lesson last time about betting against Hitchison. What Hitchison I think is going to be able to do, and I'm going to just say it. I think Hitchison wins the fight because I think Hitchison he has a subtle way of controlling the tempo. And if you can control the tempo enough for Sabril, and Sabril's going to want to make a big statement, you wind up frustrating him. And I think that's going to be, I think that's his Achilles heel. If you can frustrate him and get him out of the fight he wants to fight and keep it just boxing, you'll always beat Sabril. I think Richard Hitchens is going to be masterful at controlling the pace of the fight. If it was a more fast-paced fight, I'm going with Sabril.
Yeah, I think what Sabril got to do is, I think his game, he got to add a couple more wrinkles to his game, because I think that he was brutalizing people for a long time, like with that, just that he'll take some shots and he'll let you get yours off, almost like burn yourself out in the first 3 rounds, and then he'll come on and he got those kind of shots that just hurt wherever he hits you at, and it just accumulates. It's almost like David Benavidez, except for his punch variety isn't as good. He's not as good as David Benavidez, but the style that I'm gonna hit you everywhere, and like I'm gonna just keep, and that accumulation is just gonna, by the time you get to the 9th, 10th round, you just like, man, stop, don't touch me. You know what I'm saying? It's like he tenderized you. And I think what Sabril has to do is, for one, with some of these more talented guys, he ain't gonna be able to take all of them hits that he take. That's one. I've been said that about him. But he gotta add like another wrinkle or two in his game, because I do think that at this stage, early on when people didn't know about him, like he was getting away with it. But I think these guys that have educated feet, that can stay behind a jab, clinch if they need to, stop him when he try to come through the front door, hook off the jab, make him reset. I think those kind of you might be able to get away with it if you don't let him just touch you like that. If you don't let him get lathered up and just start touching you, and you shelling up. I think at this stage now, a pure boxer with enough pop, a respectable pop, can hang with him. You know what I'm saying? But he's still a force. It's still a lot of people that's like, I don't know about getting in there. That man crazy.
Yeah, he definitely is a force, and I'm a double down on it. I believe he's definitely a force, but I'm gonna say it again. I believe his Achilles heel is if he gets in there with a boxer that can control the pace of the fight. You feel what I'm saying? And just has just enough pop on his punch just to make him aware. I don't think you need to be like super whatever, but if you're just a boxer with educated feet and a great jab and knows how to control the pace off of the back of that jab, take that half step back as he tries to plot forward, bro, I just see him like breaking himself down mentally. You know what I'm saying? And then that's gonna lead to mistakes, and then you just make it for the other guy to make you pay. And he doesn't have to make you pay by hitting you with anything damaging or trying to stop you. He just has to make you pay by scoring on you.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. Well, I really thought somebody had some smoke for me, man. But when I used to do these, people would still be out there throwing their subliminals, but they would never step up to the plate, man. But yeah, man, this was a little vent session / opportunity if somebody had some smoke. You know what I'm saying? I know you.
Yeah, I'd definitely. Guy, so. Yo, listen, if anybody out there that wants smoke with him, I'll say, yo, salute to you. Let y'all handle that smoke, bro. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Don't let me being up here be like, oh, you had somebody up there, so I ain't want to come up there and be Listen, I'm a grown ass man. I know, when grown men gotta talk, and that shit ain't got really nothing to do with me. I know how to be like, yo, I'm gonna let y'all handle it.
Yeah, man. I don't think nobody ain't nobody nuts gonna drop. You know what I'm saying? So, but I always, you can't say I didn't present the opportunity, but you've been hearing about the whole PBC and Top Rank stuff.
Yeah, I honestly think if they join forces, I was thinking of just a scenario type thing for it. Long story short, I'm like, listen, Top Rank is known for creating the champion. You feel what I'm saying? And PBC is known for making the champion, famous and a multi-millionaire. Top Rank does the same thing, but PBC is like the premier part of it. Once you're more established, then we'll take over your career. We'll do our best to make you the biggest fights that you want, if it is that you really want these fights. So with that being said, it's like, yeah, if I was a young fighter and I'm looking at something, I'm looking at the Top Rank PBC program, because it's all going to be in house, and I'm just moving from one company to the other, and let them make me a champion, guide my career for a little bit. Then I switch over to PBC, run more as an independent, get these Amazon, fight on these streaming platforms, and I'm good to go. I stayed within house, and first 10 years of my career have been great because I've been moved right, and I'm making the money and blah 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 blah. So I think it's great for boxing. I remember Armanto saying that it was Turkey that's really leading to it. I kind of think it's probably more Jake Paul leading to it, because here you have someone who's supposed to be the outside entity of really dealing with true sports events. You feel what I'm saying? The Sheik, what they're doing and stuff like that, if you just look at his resume, you're going to see they've been dealing with sporting events for a minute. And that's, as they say in the UK, football to beach volleyball to F1 racing to MotoGP. You feel what I'm saying? All of that kind of stuff. So he's had his hand in that department for a minute. Jake Paul is the person that came out and was truly the anomaly when you just talk about views. You feel what I'm saying? Those views on that kind of platform is either, you know, an alarm, or it's something that's saying, hey, let's take notice to that, because that's significant right there. Netflix put on 2 championship fights and had some of the best numbers ever created in the boxing ethos, or in this new era of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, it's something. It's PBC versus PBC and Top Rank linking up. I hope they're reading the room and saying, listen, we've already got a connection with Amazon Prime. We heard you trying to do business over there with Netflix as well. So, you know, it is what it is.
Let me give my take, man. This is what I think it is, man. And I could be wrong, but I challenge everybody to do their research on this. This is what I think. You got to think for years, Top Rank has been acquiring these. They've been acquiring these Olympians, and people know them as like pretty much like the starter pack, right? That's the starter pack. Like Top Rank is like the starter pack. Whereas you get people like, you heard about Bud and his guarantees and what Bob said about, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills and all this stuff. You know, he say that, but you get these guys coming in. You have somebody like Xander who's been signed since he was like 17. You have all them years Keyshawn, and Keyshawn was getting a good guarantee fighting whoever he was fighting. You got Keyshawn coming along. You got a reason that he's getting a pretty penny for him coming in as a Olympian. And you look at what was going on with Belonga, how they did with Jared Anderson. And what I think happened was, at some point in time, the money that was coming from that platform, from ESPN, filtering through to these fighters, the fights, the bigger fights, the mega fights that was demanding the attention and eyeballs, they weren't getting made like that. Because I don't know when you can last say that Top Rank put on a mega fight, or like, God damn, did you see that motherfucker? Like, I don't think that ever happened. So you can reason that ESPN say, well, this is what we're gonna do. They either laid out a deal, or they just said, they may have laid out a deal and said take it or leave it, or Top Rank looked at it and said, well, we're gonna try something else. Because either way, the ESPN platform wasn't gonna be available. Whose choice it was, I don't know. I'm not an insider. But if you no longer have a platform, you no longer, like, you are a man without a land. Just like when they say you independent as a boxer and how you need a home. Well, promoters will need a home. If ESPN fall out, what are you going to do? Are you going to default to go over there on Turkey? Are you going to default to go over there on DAZN? Or are you going to default and go with a platform that already has a proven track record, because one of your biggest assets in all your anyway had already been fighting there? Because you need a platform. You got all this talent, you got all these promoters, you need a platform. So I think this was more out of a necessity on Top Rank's part than anything else, because you got to be able and still maintain your presence in this US market. So they might have shopped and said, listen, I don't know, maybe if we did more fights with them, we partner up, we allow some of our guys to fight some of their guys, you know what I'm saying, and problem solved.
Yeah.
That's kind of like because this is why I say, if the basketball ratings are down, I could only imagine. We know college, we know the football, we know college football. That's gonna be college football. Them ratings ain't going nowhere. But if they saying that basketball ratings are down, I can only imagine what the boxing ratings are, because you're competing with UFC and all these other people that's getting into boxing, and they don't even. And boxing is not at the forefront when you go to any of them apps. It's not one of the first things that pop up. You got to scroll over to the side or do something, or if they have a fight, it might be up there. But I'm thinking since the ratings in basketball was down, the ratings on people watching boxing, because like I said, when the last time you heard of a mega fight? Like everybody thought that when Shakur had that title fight, when he fought for that vacant with De Los Santos, this was going to be whatever. And they kind of shot themselves in the leg, spanning to the crowd, showing people walking out. Ratings were down. You don't have a platform. You need somewhere to go. Huh?
I would probably say maybe the last top ranked big fight was, if that was still top ranked, was Bud Crawford versus Sean Porter.
Yeah, and think about that. Why everybody's saying, "Oh man, it's this company, it's that." It's like, yeah. But everybody got to stand on their own too, as far, because Turkey get a lot of credit for some of the things that he's been able to do, how he's been able to galvanize the heavyweight division, how he got undisputed at the light heavyweight division, and in the 5v5s, like that gained a lot of traction. PBC, they still been putting on the record-breaking fights that's selling out and all that with Tank, and you got Benavidez coming up and all that. It's like when you look at Top Rank in a vacuum, you can say, yeah, they got it's fights often, and yeah, they there's some names on the cards, but as far as the big fights, you know what I'm saying?
They don't have a home for the big fights. And
exactly.
I do remember when the news first broke out that ESPN won't be covering Top Rank like that, nor will ESPN Plus. I remember seeing an interview. I don't Spanish girl or something like that. She did a really good, like 7-minute interview with Bob, and he was talking about no. At this point, we've reached out, and we're looking to do deals with. He mentioned ProBox, DAZN, ProBox, DAZN. He said, yeah, we're even, for some of the big fights, we'll even be looking to do deals with Turkey and, whoever else is in boxing and stuff like that. At that point, he didn't specifically say anything about PBC, but the girl asked him, what about anything concerning Amazon Prime? He was like, yeah, we're looking to, he said, we're looking to negotiate with people over there. So he kind of like blew it off, but kind of like said, we might be talking to making fights with PBC fighters, cross promotions, to actually be in big fights on the Amazon platform, and it's just for big fights. So I was like, yeah, there's a lot to read into, but this is the type of thing where you can't really jump too far because his answers are like not really there. It's you just got to let time pass and see how they move, and then it's like, oh, that's what he was talking about there, and oh, this is what he was talking about there. So a lot of the moves that they're doing right now, based on that conversation, you can read into it and say, yeah, they was looking to do this stuff. But all the companies' big fights right now, they don't have a platform for any of their big fights. They have plenty of platforms for their lower tier fighters. You feel what I'm saying? But their big fighters, their big name fighters, they have no platform for you. This is why they're thirsty for these co-promotions and shit like that. So yeah, to a certain degree, when you really look at it as far as the big fights, the little fights, you have a strong argument that they don't need the PBC. But for big fights, yeah, this is necessity.
Yep. And the convenience of the app and how seamless it is and how much traffic. I think they seen how much traffic and they like, Tank did that with Roach, shit, we gotta get, you know what I'm saying? Because Amazon is in Amazon. You know what I'm saying? It's named
Yeah.
that for a reason. That shit is taking over. Like,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, I just wanted to lay that out there, man. Anything you want to say, man, to wrap up, man? Put something on people's mind before we wrap up.
Yeah, let's just moving forward in boxing, my biggest gripe is just because you haven't ever heard of a foreigner's name or a fighter fighting out of another country, and he's supposed to be fighting your favorite fighter or just a guy you're big on at that time, do some research on the guy. Sometimes if it's a showcase fight, yeah, this is lunch meat. You feel what I'm saying? He's a a lunchtime snack. Put your sandwich, cut it in half or in fours, put it in a plastic bag, put it on top of your frozen soda. Should have stayed fresh all day. But some guys, when it comes down to big fights, like look up some of these foreigner guys. They're a problem. You know what I'm saying? And I'll always go back to, the biggest thing that really, really opened my eyes to foreign fighters. Jeff Lacey versus Joe Calzaghe. People have no idea what kind of Jeff Lacey fan I was, although I seen flaws in his jump off. But then when I'm looking at this Calzaghe dude, I'm like, didn't I kind of see this guy in Ring Magazine, a UK guy, and he beat either Chris Eubanks or Nigel Benn? This is that guy? A sloppy looking body dude? Oh, Jeff about to beat the shit out of this guy. This man gets popped, gets up, and then continues to beat the brakes off of Jeff Lacey. Whereas I said to myself, moving forward, respect that boxing is global. It's a worldwide sport. IBF is called the International. WBA, WBC, WBO, those are all world. So let's just keep it that way. And, let's just be fans of boxing. Let's just be fans of boxing. It's a beautiful sport, and globally, this shit is on fire.
Yeah.
So
good point.
That's where I land my plane.
All right, then, AC. Thanks for stopping through, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. Great show.
All right.
And if y'all scary dudes want to click that link and get some of that smoke with my man Body. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, man. Enjoy your evening, bro.
Yeah, you too, bro.
All right, man. Yeah, man. I think I had it wasn't just globally, but like I used to be a while ago. I was why they hyping anyway? Because it was, I thought it was a Top Rank thing. Like, why they just hyping them? Why, Top Rank is because he with. And my old head was like, man, you gotta look at this guy Naoya. I'm telling you, he's serious. In my old head, he's serious about boxing. He old school, man. I had to kind of try to pull his coattail to this new age mentality of how the new age fighters is, and how we got to give and take a little bit, because it's a new era, it's a new breed, it's a different mindset. They're getting paid a whole lot more money to do a whole lot less. You know what I'm saying? And they don't even like any kind of criticism. Anything, if you're not singing their glowing praises, you a hater. So I was educating them, but then I started watching Naoya, and I'm like, man, this dude's serious. And so when I still heard people, some of these large content creators, oh man, that hype job and this, and I was like, all right, man. And I was telling Fulton and his people, I said, man, y'all keep talking that Naoya in the way of hype job shit if y'all want to. I said, but what if he go over there and Naoya anyway stop his ass? What you gonna say? Oh, you got stopped by a hype job? I said, be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. And when I started getting more into women's boxing, because I used to do women's boxing all the time, and I started I used to kick it with Amin. He used to be over here, King Amin of Essex, and we used to get into all of the heavyweights. That's how I found out about Fabio Wardley. I thought Fabio Wardley and Jared Anderson was on a Crash Collision one day. And that don't look like it's gonna happen, man. Jared got to get himself back on the level to the potential of what we thought. But I started looking at a lot of them guys from across the pond. I want to see more Sean McCombs. I still like Hamza. You know, I'm not sure what was going on with him. Adamas just pulled up, but a lot of them guys from across the pond, they're decent. I like Yafai. I like Yafai. Who else? Imantas Stanyanis. You know, that's why I actually want to see that fight, man. I'm big on Imantas Stanyanis, man. It's definitely some guys out here. Sabril Matias. I was doing videos and pumping him up, like guys that's just not organic to like the 50 states. You know, but broaden your horizons, get to know these guys. Don't, like AC said, don't write them off. And then when it comes to the conversation of boxing, man, if you find yourself saying the same shit over and over again every day, you got some homework to do. You know, and stop thinking everybody biting you, or because y'all had the same parallels in conversation that somebody taking something from you. As far as these content creators and all these people that got all these subliminals out here. Say something, nigga. Anyway, y'all, support the channel. Hit my like button. You know, the super chat is there. The Cash App is there. It do take time, effort, and energy, especially when I do my videos. I try to be different. I try to have my graphics and my music and my levels. I try to deliver products that actually have playback value, to where you'll learn something every time. It's not hate based. It's not all opinion based. Yes, I interject my opinions, but a lot of it's fact based. It's common logic and reasoning. It's not really emotional. Only time you really see emotions is when people get to hating and throwing out all these BS narratives, and then you start to get my personal emotions as far as how disgusting the talks around boxing is. This won't be the last one, but it was free smoke. You know what I'm saying? I had that Earl Spence energy. I had that, keep that same energy. You know what I'm saying? Keep that same energy. You know, the boxing world miss Earl, man. Regardless of what the haters are gonna say. You know, but we got some up and coming guys, man, in all these divisions, man. We got 140. We got the landscape at 140. I gotta update this one to put Keyshawn on there, because he should be on there now. We gotta update this, because now Bud, he done dropped that. We got D Block. And even though people don't apply the same pressure. People don't apply the same pressure to both of these guys. We still got the Cold War, man. One of the biggest fights that could be made. We know this is never going to happen, so stop asking, because these are not the young guns. They are Batman and Robin. But this is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. That fact-based content, not opinion-based. Hopefully you got something from it. Anyways, y'all, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch, but you was like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to